Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling Diaries. This is the podcast show for the average Joe. I'm your host, Mitch Roulane. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a host of other platforms that have audio podcasts. To check us out on there, leave us a review, and spread the word about what we're doing, and all that stuff helps us to grow. And also, if you want to see the video content, importantly, it's on YouTube. So go to YouTube, The Wrestling Diaries, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more content we release once a week. I have a return guest on here. This time, we don't have masks on like the first episode. So maybe it'll be a lot easier to hear the words coming out of our mouths. Well, mine especially, actually. You could hear her perfectly. She was wearing like a lion getup. I was wearing a full-faced latex mask. Miss Bethany Gamble.
Yeah, let's go.
What accent was that?
I don't know. That was my powerlifter thing.
Let's go.
Oh, let's go. Wait.
That's kind of scary. You almost sound like one of the characters from the multitude of Exorcist
That's not
movies.
even full throat, bruh. You got to get a little demonic
Full
sometimes.
throat. That's great. So you just recently got back from a powerlifting event, correct?
I did.
Tell me about that.
Tell you about it. Well, I don't know. Last time I was on here, I think I talked about like wanting to do one and saying that I was never going to do one. That I was probably just always going to be like, win the regional spotter championships maybe for volunteering. So anyway, yeah, I went for it and I was terrified the whole time. Where do you want me to start?
Well, first of all, what is it that you went to? Is it what you're wearing here? Iron City Open?
No, I volunteered at that one.
Oh, okay.
This is my whole personality, man. Powerlifting is my whole personality. Everything.
How's powerlifting a personality exactly?
Have you met me?
Yeah.
What else do I talk about?
Oh, that's a good point.
There you go. It's my whole personality.
So, like, what is it? It's like an amateur competition, or?
I mean, we don't really to the best of my understanding, in the world of powerlifting, like, nobody's really amateur. You're a powerlifter or you're an elite powerlifter. Like, there's classifications and stuff. So, but you're not anything until you get a real total at a meet. Mm-hmm. So I finally got that. I got a real total. So I feel like I can actually
What's a real total for people that don't know what that is?
Gym totals don't count. Squat, bench, and deadlift. Like, let's say you got, I'm going to go with like average male numbers, I guess, or whatever here. But like, let's say you're a dude and you have a squat. You've got a 400-pound squat, 500-pound deadlift, and 225-pound bench, right? Those numbers added together, whatever that is. I don't have a calculator on me. I'm not a mathematician. I'm a powerlifter. Those numbers added together are your total. Mm-hmm. So you got a gym total. Everybody's got a total that does those three movements. I've had a gym total since I started squat, benching, and deadlifting, but you get a total at a meet. It's like, it's in the books. If you remember one of the powerlifting federations, you have a total in the books. That total might be 300 pounds. It might be 1,000, 2,000 pounds, but it's a total. So that's what a total is.
How long did you train for this event up into doing it?
My whole life, bro.
Your whole life. All right.
Nah.
What a nice answer.
I want to say I signed up for it in March. So I probably did like a March, April, May, June, July, August. So I probably did like a 20-week training cycle for it.
And you won some awards also. I got wind of.
I posted it.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
That's really how
on social media.
That's how I got wind of it. I saw it on social media. What is it? What'd you win?
So it's kind of like wrestling. If anybody's a wrestling fan, it's broken down by weight and age categories. There's also different equipment categories. Mm-hmm. So there's full power raw, which means it's about as basic as it gets. You can use knee sleeves and you can use a belt. That's the only equipment that you can use. Classic raw, you can use I think you can use elbow sleeves and knee wraps, which give you a whole lot more support, make you a little bit more powerful. Mm-hmm. And then there's fully equipped lifting, which is kind of like outside of my current realm of knowledge. But other than that, I did full power raw, which meant only a belt and knee sleeves. I competed in 75 kilogram class. I signed up only to compete as a submaster, which is my age group. Which is for like, those of us who are not quite middle-aged and definitely not in our 20s anymore.
Okay.
So that's the Submaster category. So I signed up to compete in 75 kilogram Submaster only because I did not want to lift with the younger ladies, up and comers. They're a lot stronger than me most of the time, being honest. But when my coach got there, she was like, they need more people in open, so you're competing open too. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, I wound up winning. I wound up Submaster category and the open category for 75 kilogram female lifters, which is not terribly, for being honest, it's not terribly uncommon to win a medal at local meets. I won't say it's easy. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy, no, but it's not uncommon.
But everybody's not winning them, though.
I mean, depending on the meet. No, not everybody's walking away with a medal. No.
But that's, you got 2, though, right?
I got 2.
What was the second one?
I won Submaster and Open.
Oh, Submaster.
So I wasn't even going to compete in Open. Open is across all age classes.
I see.
It's your weight only. Open is you're competing against people of all ages. If you sign up for Open, it doesn't matter your age.
Right.
So I wasn't going to compete there. I didn't want to.
Did you bring the medals like I asked? You didn't. How dare you?
They in my truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I'll send you a picture.
Send me a picture.
Here's a picture of the medals.
Yeah, we'll just pull the pictures
Throw
up
that in there.
We'll just have a picture of them on the show. The episode here. Now, you have some videos that we have commandeered. What do you want to take a look at first? Your squat or your deadlift? One of the two. Squat. Okay, Matt. Roll that beautiful bean footage of her doing the squat. Thank you, sir.
242 pounds, a whole lot easier than I thought it would be. Sure, squatty.
Yeah. I'm gonna start.
Hey, it's more complicated than people
Squatty
think.
Ann.
So the commands are for so like, okay, let me just interject here. Is that okay?
Sure.
I'm just gonna roll with it. There's not like powerlifting isn't like a fan sport, right? It's not basketball. It's not like football. The people that are competing in it are also the fans. You're not going to find many people that are like just powerlifting fans, right?
Yeah.
So not everybody quite understands. People have an idea of what this, weight strength sports are about. They have a loose idea. Powerlifting is different than weightlifting. It's much different than bodybuilding. But the thing is, you're not just moving the weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. That lift doesn't count unless I do it right.
Yeah.
So you got to hit depth. The crease of the knee has to go. The crease of the hips has to go below the knee for it to be a good squat. That's one thing.
That's low.
Yeah. I'm not going to make any of the jokes that come along with squatting deep. You don't have to go ass to grass, but you got to hit depth just for a second.
I feel like that's a t-shirt. Don't go ass to grass, but you need depth.
Well, I mean, it's better to squat. I try
Not
to.
ass to grass, depth.
I try to when I can.
T-shirt.
I mean, I try I tried for, every, depending on the weight and how I'm feeling, like I'll try to like hit my calves with my rear end. I want to.
Tough.
It's the right way to do it.
I know. I noticed. That's why it's so tough.
It is. That's why it's tough. But anyway, so if the crease of your hips do not go below the knee, that lift won't count. If you miss a command, that lift won't count. And I found out while I was there, if you don't straighten your knees before and after the lift, that lift won't count.
Straighten your knees before and after the lift.
Yeah, you gotta come all the way down. You can't start with soft knees. Most people understand what that means. Soft knees. You gotta be tight.
Yeah.
So you gotta start in that way, or the lift won't count.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about with the deadlifting part? How's that?
There are actually the deadlifting. The biggest thing, I guess, in deadlifting is you've got to lock it out. You can't like be hunched over at all.
Right.
If anybody's seen a deadlift, if you're still rounded at all, if your shoulders are rounded, you haven't locked it out. You got to come all the way back. You got to lock it out. You can't miss the commands, but the commands in deadlift are pretty easy. Lift, and then they wave their hand, and you can put the weight down. You've got to control the weight all the way down. You can't drop it. It's not strong. Strongman rules say you get that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have a video of we have a video of you deadlifting also. So let's take a look at that so people know what a proper deadlift looks like. Go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage, Matthew.
Behind Bethany, big 325, third attempt, looking to go 9 for 9. Let's go.
Don't call my deadlifting bean footage.
Let's go.
I'm sorry. Should I have called it beef footage?
That would have been better.
Roll that beef footage.
So, yeah. So deadlifting kind of like broke my heart in this training cycle for real.
How's that?
I missed in training, and that's not good.
You missed in training?
I missed lifts. So I have a coach now, which another thing in our last podcast, I said I wouldn't get a coach because I couldn't afford it, and I still can't afford it, but
yeah,
it's as affordable as it can be for somebody like me.
This is like the really tiny lady you're telling me about? She's like real small.
I don't know, maybe.
Like petite. Oh, you're telling me that. She's like, oh yeah, she's like really petite, but she can lift.
I was probably talking about her boss.
Her boss?
Yeah, Christina Myers is the local, if I'm not mistaken, she's the local USPLA meet director here. And she's actually the first, finding her was how I kind of got accidentally stumbling across her website is how I kind of got interested in competing. She's definitely how I got interested in volunteering. So that's probably who I was talking about. You made me lose my train of thought. What was I talking about? I was talking about missing lifts and training. So like in prep for powerlifting, you are assigned weights. So I know that on, Thursday when I go into the gym, I need to do a single for 305 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I should be able to hit that lift. I could not hit that lift in training towards the last few weeks. I didn't get over 300 in the gym I got over 300 in the gym once in the last 3 weeks of training. It was horrible. You've been with me when I missed a lift. Yeah. I cry. It's devastating. Yeah. And I missed a lot of lifts. It sucked actually. The last few weeks of training sucked. I was going through a lot of personal stuff, and it was hot out, and I work outdoors. It was really I wasn't recovering. I just wasn't able to get enough rest to recover. Mm-hmm. And I missed those lifts, and I was amazingly got 324 pounds in competition, which is almost really close to my PR. And I got 324 pounds. It was my last lift of the day. I had already been there all day, moving, hundreds of pounds around all day. Yeah. And still got 324 pounds in the last lift of competition. So I was pretty pumped. It was a grinder, man. The video probably won't do it justice, how incredibly difficult that lift was. But I got it.
I bet you were excited though, right?
Yeah, I'm still on cloud 9. I can't believe I did it.
Stoked, holy crap, I actually did this.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I can't believe that. I can't look. Me 5 years ago. It's one of those things. I've said it repeatedly. It doesn't matter to anybody else. I'm probably never going to be an elite power lifter or anything. But if you would have told the me that I was 5 years ago that I would have the emotional fortitude to do something like this, there was no way. So I made it far enough to show up to a powerlifting meet and walk away with a total, that's a win for me. That's my Super Bowl. That's my world championship. I had to work harder than a lot of people do just to be average, but I did the work. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
It's progression. I like it. It's good. Good. There's a lot of life lessons you can take from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just from just exercise, but just from anything, really.
Yeah.
Just trying to do, there's some book that I saw where it's if you can just do 1% better every day, then in a year's times, you have, what is it? It's like you've increased your level of talent or structure by like 37 times or something like that. Yeah, it's like over 37 times. It did like a math equation. You just do 1% better the next day, every day for a full 365 calendar year. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. Because it was talking about how like people are like, oh, I can't do so much. Like, this is too much for me to do. It's overwhelming. And the guy in this book was like, well, you just do 1% of something better every day. 1%. Anybody can do 1%. 1% is barely anything. It's like, but in a year, you've increased your ability of talent or skill or whatever it is 37 times than when you started. I was like, wow, that's an interesting equation there. So,
Well, and progress isn't linear either. And I think that's what, I guess that's probably what would have gotten old Bethany, as I kind of call the person I used to be, which is a lot different than the person I am now. The idea of the end goal is overwhelming because you have so far to go. And a lot of people don't even start. And the other thing is that progress isn't linear. Progress, sometimes you've got to take steps back to move forward.
right, yeah.
And you do have to have the fortitude to keep carrying on when you have a day that you don't hit 1%, right? Because you're going to have those days.
Mhm.
You're going to have days when you're in the negative on anything at work, in your personal life, and your athletic pursuits, and raising your children, anything in life. You're going to have days. And it's easy to really like tap out on those days. But progress isn't linear.
Mhm.
And part of personal growth is having heart, having the grit to carry on when things may never go your way. Right?
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? You going to give up, or are you going to keep going?
A lot of people give up.
A lot of people. This training cycle, the last month or so, it sucked. Like, I really thought about tapping out. I really came close to giving up because I'm like, why am I doing this? This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter to anybody but me.
Yeah.
I want to say that I did it, and that's it. Like, why am I doing this? I could stop and have all this time back. I can do whatever I want. I could eat whatever I want. I could just be, well, I'm never going to be normal, but no matter what I do, I'll never be normal. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Normal's subjective anyway. I think also when like one day, even if it's like right now, you're like, oh, what am I doing this for? This is just like, nobody knows about this except me. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. The fact that it matters to you is very infinitely important. But then one day I feel like what'll happen is like, this leads into some other avenue, and then it's in the future and you don't realize it now. And then later one day you'll wake up and be like, oh, shit. That like X amount of time ago when I was like, why am I doing this? This doesn't matter. It does matter. And now I see it now, a year later, 2 years later, or 5 months later, whatever it is. And you're like, oh, you ever have that happen? Kind of like this self-realization to where you were doing something and you're like, man, this is not worth its weight in gold. And then like later on, you're like, wait a second. It totally was. Oh my God. Like, I can't believe I almost quit this or stopped this because I wouldn't be able to do this now, blah, blah, blah. And so sometimes that's really important. And maybe it doesn't happen that way, but if it does, then you wouldn't know if you obviously just, I guess, gave into that mentality of like, oh, this is just bullshit. Why am I doing this?
Oh, I've had many of those moments. Do you want to hear the story? You want to hear the long version or the short version? The story I have that relates to that.
give us the summarized version.
Give you the summarized version. So, I've been on this podcast before. I've talked about like strength. Strength has always been a really, important quality to me. But I guess all this like actually started 7, 8, and maybe 9 years ago. Like, it was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I was a big girl. I was really out of shape. I was so depressed. I can't explain to you how depressed I was, but something I've always done is try to volunteer, which that doesn't make me a good person. Don't get it twisted. Like, it's just, I need something to do with my time. I need to feel valuable. Like, it's probably more disordered than it is that I'm a good person, that I volunteer for things compulsively. But that being said, someone asked me to volunteer at this CrossFit meet, which was it was the 33 WOD at what was at the time CrossFit, River Chase CrossFit. They have since changed their name. This was years ago. Someone asked me to volunteer, and I said yes. They were raising money for charity. I think it may have been the Wounded Warriors Project or something like that. I don't remember. So I went, and I was, you grow up being the last kid picked on the kickball team, right? Like, I don't know. I know somebody out there knows what that feels like. And I kind of lived my life like that. And that's how I felt at this CrossFit thing. Oh my God, I hated it. I hated every minute of volunteering there because that was the most out of shape person. I was surrounded by people who I don't think really liked me. They were actual, I was volunteering with my quote unquote friends at the time, relationships I was in. Pretty sure they didn't even like me. We all go through that where we just kind of like deal with the people that are around us because we don't want to be alone. And I've done that a lot in life. So when I left there that day, I was just totally defeated. My body image was not good leaving something like that. Like, no one there looked like me. There wasn't anyone there I could relate to, and it's crushing. And so like a week after that, I decided, a week or 2 weeks, maybe longer, but I decided to start the couch to 5K. I couldn't run for 30 seconds without feeling like my face was going to hit the ground. And, I finished that program, and, a couple years later, I was running 50, 60 miles a week and started lifting, and here we are now. So volunteering for a CrossFit meet, like, why the f am I at a CrossFit meet? Led me to here today.
So yeah, right. That's a good story, because at the time, like you were just saying, you probably felt really weird and out of place and embarrassed and like judged or whatever.
Shame is the best way to put it. I felt shame that whole day. I felt shame.
Obviously, you just felt extremely uncomfortable. Where it's like, man, I could just do without this and live my life more comfortably. But that is kind of like that catalyst to basically who you are now and what you do now.
Yeah, it certainly is. That horrible, horrible day. Like, it was a bad day because I remember it so clearly. Like, I still have pictures from it. I still have the T-shirt that I got from it. I won't get rid of that T-shirt because it was the catalyst. That one really bad day.
Frame it and put it on your wall.
Well, I say I still have it, but I honestly may have recently gotten rid of it because I'm like, I don't need this anymore. I may have gotten rid of it. I may have like had a day where I was like, I don't need this memory anymore. It no longer serves me. Yeah, it did what it needed to do for me, and I don't need it anymore.
Well, good. Sometimes that happens too, right?
Yeah.
Like you hold on to what you need for the time being, and after that,
yeah,
like you said, it doesn't serve you anymore. So
I mean, some people would need to hang on to that. They would need that piss and vinegar forever. I find mine in different places now, but for a long time that day motivated me. And again, it's not necessarily a good thing, but I'm here now, and I feel like now is a good. What I'm doing now is good. It's good. It's good for me. It's good for my family. Hopefully, I can inspire somebody else. I'm not so interested in inspiring people. And again, we referenced it in the last podcast. I lost a lot of weight. I lost almost 200 pounds, but it's less now because I put some back on. But I want to inspire people to weight loss because diet culture sucks. I do want to inspire women, especially women, but anybody.
Just be healthy.
Not even that. No, to believe in themselves.
That in itself is being healthy, right?
Mentally it healthy. Is.
Emotional health.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the the health and fitness space, as it is online. I don't really care for it.
I don't even know what that is.
Well, you look at fitness influencers. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Everybody knows what that is.
Okay, now I know you don't.
And the Weight Watchers and the keto diet, and it's endless. Do this workout to get a flat tummy. The stuff you see on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Look, that's all bullshit. I think that's all bullshit.
All of it? Anything
that is just the whole focus is to change the way your body looks.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're a bodybuilder, I respect that. Like there are some, if aesthetics is your sport, I think that's different. But if you want to change the way your body looks because of insecurity, and I've been there, so this is not a judgment. This is something I work on daily. That world has to stop. I know not everybody agrees with that. Like, whatever. But I think it's building this false narrative that if you look a certain way, you will be happy. And I'm here to tell you that you will not. It will not make you happy. It will never be enough. And I know that firsthand. It'll never be enough. Even with string sports, I'll never be strong enough. I said when I got to this day, when I deadlifted over 250, I'd be happy. When I deadlifted over 300, I'd be happy. When I competed once, I'd be happy. No, that's not enough. But that's it's a noble pursuit. I'm pursuing strength. It's no longer, and for a long time, it was about the way that I looked. I'm a female. Like, I've got to look a certain way to be valued in society. And everything that we see, especially online, on TV or whatever, that's telling us that our value is wrapped up in the way that we look, it's a lie, and I want to challenge that. And I want to say, don't worry about that shit. Just get strong as
Yeah, that's a great message. I mean, yeah, you're right though. Everybody's raised. We're all raised and up on TV and advertisements and stuff like that, telling us what's attractive and what's pretty and all that stuff. What's presentable, and it's just not true. So many people are built so differently. And there's people never really sit back to think about this concept. Like, there's 7.5 billion people on planet Earth, and a fraction of that in the country that we live in the United States. That's a ton of people. That's like, you can't even really, I can't fathom. Just think about how many a room full of 30 people is. Like, man, there's a lot of people in here. There's really not. It's 30 people, but it seems like a lot. So then how many is 300 and 3,000 and 30,000? Like, so many people are so different, and everybody just has a different way of looking and all this other stuff. And
diversity is valuable. And health is a different topic. And I won't speak so much on health because I'm not a doctor.
Wait, you're not?
Just play one on TV.
Dr. Gamble.
I'm not a doctor. People.
That has a ring to it, though. Dr. Gamble.
Yeah, well, maybe one day. Maybe when I break
Gamble, room 9. Dr. Gamble, room 9.
Maybe when I break my back maxing out those deadlifts, I'll go to medical school.
There you go.
Learn to read minds, go to medical school.
Perfect.
Start a team of mutant superheroes.
Excellent. X-Men reference. I love it.
Yeah, I can harp on that stuff a lot though, because I've experienced it. And the other sad thing that I've experienced and was again a great motivator for powerlifting was that, people treated me one way when I was in a larger body, and they absolutely treated me better when I wasn't. And seeing that that's real it's a mind. I'm still getting over that. I'm like, so I wasn't enough for you then for some reason, just because of the way that I looked, but I'm better now. It really messed with me, and I had that experience firsthand, and I don't want anyone else to feel that way ever, and of course a lot of my pursuits are selfish, of course. But they're not, they're 98% selfish, but there's at least 2% of me that's like, maybe if I keep telling this story, somebody will hear it and they won't have to go through the things that I went through.
Yeah. So where do you go from here? What's your next goal?
Qualify for nationals, I guess.
qualify for nationals.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You lift more weight, lift enough weight to qualify for nationals. I actually think I'm spitting distance from qualifying for masters. So that's what my coach said at the meet. She said, I think that you may have qualified for masters for nationals.
That's pretty cool.
So
when would masters take
and I would
place?
handily get the beat out of me. Let's be clear. There's some strong women. Jen Thompson, look, I couldn't get 225 pounds off my chest. And Jen Thompson, she's very elite. She's a very elite level power lifter, but she can do 225 for reps like some dudes cannot. And she's in her 50s. So yeah. So I would lose handily, but I'd love to go. Just like with this, I'd love to go and say that I did it. So yeah, I said I was just good, but I'm not nope. This is something I'm going to pursue and take it as far as I can.
Mm-hmm.
My next competition will probably be in January. I'm thinking it's going to be January. I wanted to do it sooner than that, but there's some drama right now. No, I won't call it drama. That's disrespectful. It's not drama. It's, there's some conflict right now in the major powerlifting associations, that, I don't think it's really going to affect anything at the local level. But anyway, yeah. So my next meet will probably be in, January.
Okay.
In
So you've
Tuscaloosa.
got quite a while to prepare for that.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I wanted to compete sooner, but I haven't seen anything come up, and I'm not experienced enough. I'm still very new. I'm I'm a novice. I don't know what I'm doing yet, so I'm trying to play it smart, and I don't think it would be wise for me. I thought about going to Tennessee for a meet in October, but I don't think it would be wise for me to travel like that. I think it's better just to be patient.
Okay.
And wait, because I don't need a competition to get stronger.
Yeah. Do you have to, do you count calories?
On and off, yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Like you have to have you supplement a certain, obviously you need a good bit of protein to help build the muscles that you're trying to lift with. How else does that look? What else does that look like? Like
maintaining my weight. I have to be very careful. This is all recycled stuff from our last podcast, but again, I do have a history with eating disorders. I have to be very careful. So I try to focus now on maintaining my weight. Depending on how this goes and how strong I can get, in my 40s, here in the next year or two, I might consider going down a weight class. I'm try not to let my mind go there now because I am like a baby. I'm a baby lifter, and it's balanced that between like you're a baby, you don't know what you're doing, you still have a lot to learn, and those things are all absolutely true about me. And my mindset is always like 100%. We're going to do this 100%. I need to know everything there is to know about it. I need to read all the rule books. I need to be the strongest girl that ever was. And that's that mindset that helps you accomplish things, but it also helps you totally destroy your body in rapid succession or fall apart with your mental health and stuff like that. So, but I don't count them like I used to. Mostly just count my macros to make sure I'm getting enough protein, carbohydrates, make sure I'm getting enough, which I'm not doing right now. I'm actually kind of, letting myself chill because I've been going at it really hard for almost 2 years. I haven't stopped at all, except for maybe when I had coronavirus. I took a week off then. I may have taken a week off here and there, but as far as like taking a month or two off, that hasn't happened since. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
So I'm not taking time off the gym, but I am relaxing as far as not pushing so hard, and that's where having a coach comes in handy. Like she knows what she's doing. And so the workouts she prescribes for me right now are low intensity, low in volume. We're just kind of going up, building a better base of stability, and not doing so much as far as like necessarily getting stronger, but being more stable will make you stronger in the long run. Not counting calories, being mindful of my protein intake, but definitely not like I should. I.e., I had half a steak and some pie for dinner last night.
half a steak and pie.
Those are things I do not eat, like full fat,
So
like ribeye
random.
steak. I eat like super lean meat
Yeah.
99% of the time. Last night I had like this greasy ribeye that was cooked in butter and some pie.
Sounds good.
And that was my whole dinner.
What kind of pie was it?
Oh, it was those gas station pies, which are like my favorite thing. If you want to if you want to see me happy,
Gas
you know what I'm
station
talking
pie.
about, the little pocket
Yes,
pies.
I know exactly
You know
what you're
exactly.
talking
And they're even better if they've been expired for like a month,
the
because then they get all gelatinous and stuff. It's
Jesus.
disgusting. I'm an animal.
So random.
I'm trash. It is random. I don't know why that is. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so gas station treats were like,
Gas station pies, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, gas station treats were a really important part of my life growing up. It was the best thing about my childhood. Gas station treats. I don't know what that should tell you. It should tell you
my
everything you
God.
need to know about my childhood. Gas station treats were the highlight.
Hey, everybody's got something.
I'll take it.
Everybody's got something.
That's right.
So, just like the last time and the basis of the show, I ask now the things that you wrestle with personally. Obviously, I'm assuming that a lot of it's probably similar from the last time, but maybe there's new things or maybe there's extra things from last time. But what are you currently kind of struggling with, Bethany? What are you wrestling with?
Can't remember what I said last time, because I think, I have ongoing issues, and they haunt me every day, and it doesn't get easier, you just get better at it. That's kind of been my mantra, especially having a son that's a senior in high school. He's going through it, and I tell him all the time, look, kid, it's not going to get any easier, but you're going to get better at it, so I have to tell myself the same thing. I'm on cloud 9 right now, because I just like this huge landmark in my life.
Mhm.
I think that much like everybody else, loneliness has played a big factor and continues to play a big factor in how I live my life. That's a difficult thing to overcome,
Yeah.
because we're made for people. I'm an extrovert, and
Well, like what kind of loneliness? Because not all loneliness is created equal. Is it like romantic loneliness? Is it just general loneliness, friendly loneliness, or just people around in general? Like you just don't have people around in general, and so you're just essentially alone.
I think it's a little bit of all those things.
Okay.
I've been single for so long. I've been single for longer than anybody I know at this point. I know a lot of people that had romantic relationships like after me, and I've been single longer than all of them. So of course that makes you think like you do have that's what's wrong with me. I don't let myself go there. I try really hard not to let myself go there, because I don't want to sound like asexual or whatever, because I'm not. I don't identify that way. I respect anyone that does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I don't need it. I do need intimate relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, over these last few years, I've kind of grown up. A big part of my life and my relationships were built around religion and the church.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say anything too controversial or whatever, but
I
I
don't give a
personally, I still won't do that to you or myself, because people I know will listen to this. I've kind of decided that I'm definitely not an evangelical Christian. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, but I know I've pretty much walked away. I'm like, the church, what it is now.
I'm telling everybody.
No, everybody should
You're
know.
in trouble.
Everybody should know by now.
Everybody's knowing.
It's kind of an open
Jesus
secret.
warriors, come to me.
Don't
Come at her.
They will.
Can you believe her?
They will, because I
Anyways,
am
go on.
am probably a heretic where most people are concerned. I built my entire relational world around the church and my function at the church and being in ministry. We
Mhm.
talked about my life in ministry last time. I don't have that anymore, and I continue to get further and further away from it, which means I've had to let go of a lot of relationships. It's an incredibly painful process. Some people are familiar with, I hate the term deconstruction. It's become such a cliche, and but it does give a voice to what a lot of us who grew up in the church and took Jesus and take Jesus very, very seriously are going through. That what the church is now, what it represents now, isn't something, and that's the Big C church, not all churches, but the majority of churches that you see and you hear about, it's not something we can get behind anymore. So I'm not the only one going through that, but it's an incredibly lonely process. So that's a big player there. And, I am definitely one of those people that have, look, you don't get into something like powerlifting unless you got something you're trying to work out, like you're a little pissed off about something.
Yeah, sure.
Something pissed you off, and I'm definitely one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I definitely need to work on being a more... I definitely need to work on it. Whew, you throw a girl off her game.
So
This is what you get for not bringing me alcohol.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know. It was too late.
Definitely need to work harder on vulnerability.
Okay.
So maybe that's the shortest way to say it. I need to work on vulnerability, and I need to work on finding a new tribe of individuals that are more like-minded.
I feel like I'm like-minded like you.
Yeah, we get along great.
Yeah.
We jive. We've worked out since the last
out,
podcast. Yeah. We were only talking about it on the last one, and we've actually done it a bunch now.
That's a very good point you just brought up. We talked about it, and then from that point on, when we had the last podcast, which was in October around Halloween, you and I have had kind of like gym partners.
Yeah.
Just working out together.
Gym bros, bruh. We're gym bros, bruh.
Spotting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been fun. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Is it everything you dreamed it would be? Because on the last podcast, I told you it'd be the worst 3 hours of your life.
It wasn't that bad. It was great.
Because I kind of follow you, though.
It's good. It's really good. It helps motivate me, and it's just nice to have someone to chat with and shoot the breeze with while you're lifting and all that.
Yes.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at that. We got like a little tribe.
It's a starter.
It's a starter tribe.
Starter tribe. It is. It's hard. It's hard in your I'm 39. I'm a single mother, and I currently have, I don't want to say I don't have any religious affiliation, because again, I still consider myself Christian. I honor and respect people who choose not to identify that way. I just do. I identify still as a Christian, but ex-evangelical as opposed to evangelical.
Mm-hmm.
It's really difficult to just meet people and to build intimacy. It's so hard. It's so hard. And it's so hard to hang on to relationships as people change. Like, not all relationships are meant to last forever. And so we all go through periods where we start to lose people.
Mm-hmm.
Our friends get divorced. Somebody moves away. You change jobs and you lose people that way. And for me, the balance has been off. There's been a lot more losing than gaining, and that's really, really difficult for me.
And then sometimes people just, one of the biggest ones I've seen myself personally is sometimes people just drift. Just drift away.
Absolutely.
Just drift apart. You drift away from each other, and it's not necessarily because of anything like dramatic or whatever. It's just, you just drift, man. Like, life just kind of, it slowly is like that, like fork in the road, and as you both take separate paths, that they widen and they keep widening until they're on the other side of the planet and you're on the other side.
I try really hard not to do that in my closest relationships. I am a little
Me too.
Clingy, probably is a good word for it. Like, I can be clingy. I usually, and that's my whole life, I've always had sort of this little small handful of people that I kind of could be clingy with. I don't so much have that anymore. But I think, as a society, that's a lesson we need to learn. We can't, not everybody's going to be our best friend, but everyone should have a few relationships that aren't blood, that are just people that you've battled with, you've gone through things with, that you would do anything for each other, and that you will fight for your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Male and female, both sexes and everything in between. Like, we need to fight for our relationships. They're everything. We're made for other people. Our existence is useless, pointless without other people.
Right. Yeah. It's good to like. I'm always like critiquing people for being so tribal, because people like They just hop on some bandwagon and they don't even like keep an open mind to other things, and they're just listening to what somebody else is saying, if they're saying it loud enough and often enough and stuff. But I mean, naturally, that's just how we are. We have to have a group to fit into, to belong to, and sometimes it's best for our actual health to it gives us this weird sense of purpose. And when we have that purpose, I don't know, it can build a better psychological environment for us, and that's good. It's just, I guess, where it gets bad is when it becomes a danger to ourselves and people around us.
Well, thinking we're superior. It's thinking that your clique is superior to others because of your ideologies or the way that you think or any number of things. When you start to believe that you're superior, as a tribe, especially as an individual, it's problematic. It's even more problematic when you're in a clique or a tribe or however you want to describe it. Like we have to, if we can honor each other, and honor our differences and honor our diversity, you know, it's not such a big deal now because, like you said, it is true. We're gonna gravitate towards like-minded people, and that's okay.
And we should,
yeah, we should. But you don't want to trap yourself in an echo chamber either.
That's true. My
closest friends have always been people. We've started off having nothing in common. My Tinder profile says that actually. It does. It says I like people I have nothing in common with.
Nice.
Because that's always like the people I have found myself closest to. We always started with a very wide gulf between us ideologically, and just kind of moved to center. I like to listen. I like to talk. I like to share my ideas. Obviously, I have no problem talking here to this mic. But I like to listen to. I like people's experiences, and that's cool when people have experiences similar to mine. But it's even cooler when it's perspectives I have not.
Yeah,
considered.
I agree because I'm learning something.
Yeah,
I'm learning it, and whether I adopt it or not is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that I'm attaining this information that I didn't have prior, and I wouldn't have got that otherwise if I'm just sticking around. I'm just hanging out with everybody that just likes to eat hamburgers. Right.
And two, if you're if somebody does have, if somebody does have ideas that you believe are dangerous, you're never going to change their mind by yelling at them. I mean, you've got to get to know them.
That's why you just kill them.
Oh,
just kill them.
You're going to get canceled. Careful.
Nobody's going to cancel me. Come on. Nobody's going to cancel this show.
Damn, you threw me off my game again.
I'm sorry.
What was I talking about?
Yeah, you were talking about the differences of people and how that's good.
No, relationships are important for even if you want to change somebody's mind. All the yelling that's happening, and trust me, I have a side. I won't just. I mean, one can know me, the authentic Bethany, and not the just trying to do customer service Bethany, but real Bethany. Yeah. For about 5 minutes before you know where I stand. And so I definitely lean in one direction over the other. That being said, I'm not going to demonize people that have different ideas than I do. They're different than me. Yeah. And there's something that has brought them to that conclusion. Now, it might be total bullshit and stupidity that have brought them to that conclusion. But there are conclusions that I've had in my life that were brought on by stupidity and poor research. And, again, nobody yelling at me ever changed my mind. Nobody screaming at me ever changed my mind. Of course, there's caveats to that. We have to protect people. We have to protect people from physical harm, from trauma. We have to protect people. But in day-to-day life, I feel like we should all work a little harder to not let everything... the internet causes us all a lot of problems, right? We see people in a bubble. The internet makes it real easy. Social media, especially, makes it real easy to see people in a bubble. If you look at my social media, you would, I don't know what conclusions people had. I try to be honest on it, but it's the highlight reel. You don't know anything about me. And I keep a lot of secrets, and I do not apologize for that because, my inside life is none of your business. So unless I want to make it your business, but if you look at me on social media, you're going to think a lot of things about me that are absolutely not true. And we all do that to each other.
Yep.
And it's sad.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what we do, man. We judge.
But that's the thing. We all mourn that. And I guess everybody says that. But what are we doing about it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not doing anything
Most people
about
aren't doing anything about it. Stop posting hateful on Facebook. Delete it. Facebook's a dumpster fire. Instagram's a little bit better. Facebook's a dumpster fire. But stop with this hateful stuff. Just, you don't have to be hateful to present your idea. I hate it. It makes me sick at my stomach. Like, don't be hateful.
People are hateful, and then other hateful people see it, and they're like, ooh, like. And then that hateful person, they get on there, and they've got a litany of notifications, and that makes them feel good, and they get off that hit of dopamine in their brain and get high off of it. And
Yep.
oh yeah, so what I'm doing is something. What can I post tomorrow?
Yeah,
that'll so I can get some more likes. I need more likes. That's what I need. More likes. I need more comments. I need more likes. And it's just this weird thing. It's like taking a drag off of your cigarette. Like you take that hit and you're like, ooh, okay, good. Now I can face the day. This feels good. I got a little buzz going. I feel good.
That's a really good way to describe it.
And literally, that's what people are getting from the social media thing. It took me a while to realize that, like, that actually makes a lot of sense, because I've actually gotten trapped in that bubble a couple times, and I'm like, oh, now I get it. Now I see this is like, it's almost like a chemical addiction or something, but it's not. It's like this weird psychological addiction. It might even be worse than like putting a cigarette in your mouth in that regard, just from the addiction of it. You just get addicted. These clicks, these likes, these clicks, you just get addicted to it. And then more people get addicted to it. And you just a bunch of ass running around addicted to their social media stuff and how much clout they can pull in from it. It's pretty wild, man.
Their heads aren't in the real world anymore.
That's right. They live in this artificial...
They're in the Matrix, bro. They're living in the Matrix, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's a horrible way to put it, but it's true.
They're floating around in the Matrix.
Yeah.
This digital bath. They're in this digital pool, and they're just floating.
That's a badass Deftones song, you know.
It is excellent. Deftones. When I said it, I was like, ooh, that's Deftones. And then you said that.
That's a good analogy.
Perfect. So let me ask this question. This is another precursor to the what do you wrestle with question, but it goes like, if we had a telephone time machine that we invented and we let you borrow it, and you could pick it up and dial any time in the past to talk to your past self, and let's say, for the sake of arguments, it's a time that you feel like you needed to talk to you back then and give some advice to your young self. Which Bethany do you call, and what do you say to her?
That's a really hard question. I've always said I wouldn't change a thing. I've always said that, but if I would have to choose a time, stuff I don't want to get into too publicly here.
Well, here's another thing. It's a telephone time machine too, so you don't have to always go in the past. I've used the question where you can call yourself in the future.
No, I don't want to see the future. You see the storm going on around us?
You don't want to call yourself in the future?
I don't want to call post-apocalyptic Bethany and be like, hey, what's going on out there? I don't want to know.
There's bombs going off. People are dying from new diseases. There's animals out here. I can't talk to you right now.
I like blissful ignorance where I am right now, not knowing what the future holds. Nope. No future Bethany. I only get one?
Yeah. For this episode, you only get one.
I could have called myself. I would have called any Bethany previous to 4 years ago, and I would just tell her that you've got it in you. I would just tell myself that I was okay alone, like I could do life alone, like I was capable. I didn't, up until 4 years ago, I was scared to walk into a gas station by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I would say to me. I don't know if I would have listened. And that's always the thing. I I can't change a thing. I can't change anything that's happened. So I never think about it. I have no regrets. I did everything that I needed to do. And so I can't really answer that question with any conviction. You know, of course I want a better life than the one that I have. Of course I do. Of course I want to own a home, not live in an 800 square foot apartment that I can barely afford. Of course I don't want to be a single mom. Of course I want more income. Of course I want these things. Those things are still in my control though. And to some degree I can change them, but as far as the past goes, I don't think there's anything that I would change. It sucked. A lot of it sucked, but it's already happened. And I have, there were gifts. There were gifts from it. So I don't think I would change anything. Sorry to mess up your game.
No, not at all. There's no right or wrong answer to that. I just like to see what people say.
I honor my past. It took me a long time to get to that place because for a hot minute I was like, I killed old Bethany. She was useless and she is dead and I don't want to talk to her ever again.
Okay then.
And there's I had to do a lot of therapy to get through that,
Yeah.
But I've moved past that now and she did the best she knew how to do. And yeah, we are where we are. There's no change in the past, brah.
Perfect. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind on this world?
Oh, we talked about this already. I just want to.
Did we talk about it?
We did talk about it. Yeah, I want. I want to leave the world better than I found it. That's it. Do somehow, some way. I want to leave the world better than I found it. I want to do right by people. I want to do more good than bad, and I want to raise my son the same way.
Excellent.
I want that. Of course, that's the most important thing. That I raise my son to do right, to want to do right, and to leave the world better than he found it. Not be afraid. And I hope that's the legacy I leave.
Boom. And with that being said, that's a wrap.
Peace out, y'all.
That was so good. Thank you for coming on the show again.
Anytime, man.
That was really, really
Not
awesome.
Anytime. Sometimes, though.
Not anytime, but sometimes.
Has anyone else been on the show twice?
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
two-timers? Who are your other two-timers? Do you know?
My friend from Manchester was on here twice. My very second guest, Roger Brown, was on here twice. Who else was on here twice,
I
man?
don't know. You need to do an SNL. You need to do a
Not
Five-Timers
many.
Club.
Not many. So you're like a very small list of people that have been second guests on here. So yeah, I don't ask everybody for a sophomore follow up.
Oh, sweet. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have anything you want to plug in before we go? Powerlifting wise, social media wise,
No.
any of that jazz? No.
No. Stay out of my life. I don't know you.
Stay out of her motherfucking life.
Get out my I don't know who you are.
Sorry for the language, but I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. All right, that's it. I'm a man. I cuss. I drink beer sometimes. Get over it.
Swear, sweat, lift heavy shit.
Boom. That's another T-shirt. See, we need to go in business for ourselves. Make our own gym shirts. Seriously, we'd be like, was it Roskell or whatever? Have our own one, man. Sounds good. Thank you so much for being on the show. Pound it, buddy. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this another episode of the Wrestling Diaries. My good friend Bethany on here, just talking about powerlifting and how you can use that in relation to life, because it is an art form in itself, and it's something that is metaphoric. You're lifting and you're progressing, and just the thing she was talking about like, how when she thinks that like, oh yeah, what am I doing this for? It's just for me. It doesn't matter, but it really does matter. And I feel like Bethany has used this as a really great catalyst. And I really like this too, because you took powerlifting, just this one thing, and you just became obsessed with it. And this is what you romanticize. And you're obsessed with it. You love it. You breathe it. You eat it. You sweat it. Like, that's awesome. I love people that pick this thing, just one thing, and they obsess over it, and they just go after it. And there's something really, I don't know, infectious about that, just in general. Like, not just with powerlifting, but with anything. To see somebody have that much passion for something. And I feel like it definitely can be a really great thing for you to use just in your everyday life to teach you about discipline and progression. And I feel like that's the most important part to today's episode is progressing. How are you progressing? Where were you X amount of time ago, and where are you now? And did something that you think wasn't going to pan out for you, did that now? Are you like, oh wow, it actually did, and I didn't realize it until later, and I stuck with it, and look at where I'm at? Do you have that in your life? And if you do, what does it feel like, and what does it mean to you, and how could it mean something to somebody else? How could it help somebody else? I don't know. You tell them, because somebody might need some help out there. But as always, check us out on our audio streams, Google Podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Radio Public, and a host of others that have audio podcasts. You leave us a review. That's very important. Go to YouTube, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for more content. We release once a week. Tell me, folks, what do you wrestle with, and how can you beat it? One love.